Hello, here we are again. I'm a doctor here with my smock, and I've got my stethoscope here and even some bones to let you know that I'm an RD. That means real doctor. And I have a different opinion than the doctors that recently went to Washington to support healthcare reform, because I really don't like to have a tyrannical bureaucrat between me and my patients, not allowing me the freedom to give the best care that I think that patient needs. I think every patient should have the freedom to choose the best doctor that they can find. And that's what made America great. I think doctors should have incentives to keep improving their skills, not the disincentive that if they don't follow some cookbook medicine that's created by thousands of bureaucrats to save money based on global budgets. I don't think that will be an incentive to create the best care and advance the best health system in the world that we have here. People come from all over the world to America for health care. 85% of the people in America, according to polls, like the health care. They like their doctor. But you know, 45% of doctors say they're going to quit if they're ordered around. People say, well, that won't happen. Well, doctors who can afford it will. Because you see, if you make someone work twice as hard, fill out twice as much paperwork, and have threats on their life and liberty, and every decision they make is second-guessed by someone who's not a doctor, why would anyone want to be a doctor? 95% of the doctors today say they don't recommend their kids to go into healthcare. You know, what they're proposing basically is to build a wall between the doctor and the patient. They're building a wall between the purpose of the state and the citizen. They're building a wall between the premise of insurance and protecting the people who want to share in the risk. And like Ronald Reagan said, I'm just asking our president, Mr. President, tear down this wall. Because, see, the real role of government is to be a watchdog to be fed, not a cow to be milked. Tyler said that a republic or a democracy list to the extent that enough people discover they can vote themselves economic benefits out of the public trough. Once enough people discover that, they only vote for politicians who promise them economic benefits. But you know, there's always free cheese in a mousetrap. The government has no money except what they steal from us. I saw a bumper sticker the other day that said, don't steal. The government hates the competition. And I hope I'm communicating this message clearly. Too often we don't. A patient the other day said, tell me in plain English what's wrong with me. I don't want any of them scientific terms. I said, you're fat and lazy. He says, now use scientific terms so I can tell my wife. We need to get our message of freedom loud and clear throughout this country, because we're losing our freedom every day we turn on television. There is more laws and regulations. The history of freedom is the limitation of government power, not the expansion. The greatest threat to freedom in America is the expansion of government power. And we've seen the greatest power grab in the history of our country. Why the rush? Why not do this right? Let's talk about what is the solution. Well, the government's done a lot of finger pointing. The problem is patients. The problem is the doctors. The problem is insurance companies trying to make obscene profits. We need to quit looking where the government's pointing and start looking at them. Because, see, the federal tax code is what's causing the culprit. Back after World War II, when the government enacted wage and price controls, they came up with the idea that we'll allow industry to give a tax break, to have a tax break by giving health insurance for all their employees, because they can't raise wages. Well, employers were excited. They got a free benefit they didn't have to pay for. Employers were excited. They got to give at least an improved incentive for all their employees. Doctors actually were excited too, because now someone else was paying the bill other than the person receiving the service. Well, when you have a third-party system paying for something, the premise, the demand goes up and the costs go up, because they're not paying for it anyway, to the point where 82 cents out of every dollar spent on healthcare is paid by someone other than the recipient. Actually, Americans spend almost as much on entertainment as they do healthcare. Why don't we have a national entertainment crisis? We're spending too much going to ball games and going to Las Vegas and too much on entertainment. You pay your own bills when you do things like that. And so if we change the tax code to allow everybody to have a choice between 1,200 or 1,500 insurance companies, and let insurance companies compete for your business. They can custom make plans based on what your desire is. If you have a conscience clause, 1/3 of the hospitals don't want abortions because they're Catholic hospitals. Taxpayers shouldn't have to pay for that. According to this bill, that would be required. If you don't want to pay for somebody else's behavior that you feel is not right, you shouldn't have to. But you should be able to customize plans for every American. That's what made America great. If you had a high deductible, why not give tax breaks to allow people to save for routine care with pre-tax dollars? If doctors had to compete for the first $3,000 or first $5,000 worth of care, that would drive down costs because doctors would think of innovative ways to compete for those services. And last, why not give doctors a tax break for giving free care for the indigent? You wouldn't even have to put that burden on the taxpayer. I know doctors who give hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of free care a year, but if they at least got something for that time and money and energy and effort that they give to people at no charge, they'd be more than willing to do that, more than happy to do it. See, 95% of doctors go into healthcare because they care about people. They want to help people. They have a very altruistic attitude. But if you destroy that by socializing their spirit and their creativity and their ambition, you destroy what made America great. We can't give a dab of paint to 100 people and paint the Mona Lisa. America is the only nation in the world where we get our rights from God, not from government. That's the word inalienable, God-given rights. And when government appoints themselves God and takes away rights, whatever the government gives, the government can take away. When they try to alter your behavior by passing tens of thousands of laws and start to deny care like they do in every socialistic country, based on your lifestyle, based on your decisions, based on what the government bureaucrats feel they can afford, this will destroy America forever. And not only will it bankrupt our country, but all of our lives are major threatened. According to research, 1 out of 1 of us is going to die, whether you're a liberal, Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, whatever your philosophy of life, all of us are going to go. The question is, would you like to make the decision on when and how you die, or would you rather leave that decision up to nameless, faceless, heartless bureaucrats who will second-guess your quality of life and give you only the care that will give you temporary relief rather than a hip replacement or rather than the surgery you may need to save your life? I think America is at a crossroads. This is a defining moment. We need to rise up and fight for freedom. As Patrick Henry said, millions of Americans armed in the holy cause of liberty are invincible against any force the enemy can rise against us. There is a just God who presides over the destiny of nations. He will help rise up friends to help fight our battles for us. The battle is not to the strong, it's to the vigilant, the active, and the brave. Is life so sweet or peace so dear as to be purchased at the price of chains or slavery? Forbid it, Almighty God, he said. I care not what course others may take, but as for me, give me liberty or give me death. And that's what the choice is today. It's freedom or servitude. There is no in-between. And as one doctor that wants to give the proper prescription for our country by stimulating incentives, giving tax breaks, empowering doctors, empowering citizens to make their own choices in life, to go wherever they want for whatever care they need, and we can custom make insurance plans for everybody. We can solve all of our problems, not by expanding the role of government. We have a choice today, freedom or servitude. And the action step I'm recommending, this bill cannot be modified, it cannot be compromised, it needs to be killed. And we need to go back to the drawing boards and decide how can we cover all Americans and still preserve freedom? Because it can be done. And I'm challenging every person there to go to WorldNet Daily and look under the Pink Slip Project. Any politician who wants to vote on this bill to destroy your freedom needs to be replaced. Because Thomas Jefferson said resistance to tyranny is the natural manure of the tree of liberty. We live in a bottom-up system of the people, by the people, for the people, shall never perish from this earth. It shouldn't be of the bureaucrats, by the bureaucrats, and for the bureaucrats. And our challenge is that. Go to WorldNet Daily, WND.com, click on Pink Slip Project. Send a notice to every congressman that you want to fight for liberty and you want them to represent you. They have 2 jobs, represent their people and uphold the Constitution of the United States. This will destroy the First Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, the Fifth Amendment, the 10th Amendment, and you know the 13th Amendment that says slavery will be outlawed in America, involuntary servitude will not be tolerated. Now, when you tell a doctor you can only provide this service, you can't provide this, and you will be punished, you will have a surcharge and a tax on all your service if you don't comport with our procedures, and a $25,000 fine if you don't buy the government insurance. And you threaten them with jail terms and punishments, six-figure fines. If that's not involuntary servitude, I don't know what is. Let's uphold our Constitution. Benjamin Franklin said, we've given you the Constitution if you can keep it. But those words are not just mere words. They have to be in our heart. They have to be in our head. We need to understand what it means. So our challenge is freedom or servitude. I challenge everybody to be involved. We can't depend on the Army, Navy, and Air Force to protect our freedoms. Freedom is the result of eternal vigilance for each and every one of us. I thank you.